You guys know who this lady is. So, Visa Everywhere Initiative back in 2022, Stronghold Rewards Program builds trust, creates loyalty. Stronghold merchants use the rewards program to earn points that can be redeemed to rebates, for Stronghold's SHX tokens. Now, why am I pointing out something from 2022? Here's why. Because I think it's a big deal. You see how important this is, in my opinion, that, you know, like Visa recognizing Stronghold, the bigger picture. So on this report from TechCrunch, this was a while back, you will see where I have fast forward in regards to the Visa Everywhere initiative back in 2022. There was these various different companies that had like a 4-minute time segment to pitch their, like what they do, right? And it was to Visa. And the cool thing is, Stronghold won. I want to give you a blast from the past of understanding why I think this is important to pay attention to. And if anything, it's kind of cool. It's very cool, just in case you didn't know about it. So, yes, Visa making its network available to drive inclusive economic growth with the goal of giving everyone everywhere access to the global economy. Back to the whole thing of remittances. And Visa choosing Stronghold, you don't think that's a big deal? And again, look at Stronghold compared to your other larger market cap coins and tokens. Yes, we saw Stronghold, well over a penny and whatnot, right? And we've seen it way below that, like a few zeros. A lot of you guys did extremely well. But the point is, there's still time for this whole thing, in my opinion, in regards to Stronghold. It's still very low market cap. If you understand the bigger players that are behind this, I think you will understand why we are going to continuously talk about Stronghold. Take a look at this. I fast forwarded to this mark. It's about roughly an hour and 10 minutes, but I fast forward to 35.53. You're going to hear this familiar lady, right, from Stronghold, pitch Strongholds to Visa. How cool is that? Watch this. Let me know what you think. Here we go.
I'm excited to introduce you to Tammy Camp of Stronghold, providing fast, secure, and accessible financial services through a simple API.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tammy Camp, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Stronghold. We are a Forbes FinTech 50 developer platform that allows software companies to embed payments in financial services through a simple API. Our focus is on the fastest growing SMB verticals, healthcare and B2B, with a compounded annual growth rate at 17%. These verticals comprise of a $14 billion annual spend in payments. We've partnered with over 18 technology and software companies and 7 of the most innovative financial institutions. This thriving Stronghold ecosystem puts us in a unique position to address real small business challenges. 66% of small businesses feel that their financial institutions are unresponsive to their needs, and 58% report that their financing needs are not being met, with people of color 52% less likely to receive financing. With these challenges in mind, Stronghold's launched a suite of products. Here are the 2 that we're going to talk about today. The first product is merchant financing. After onboarding to our payments platforms, merchants can access financing quickly because Stronghold uses business performance, payments history, and existing KYB data, leading to approval and funding in just 3 days. The second product is Stronghold's rewards program. You've most likely participated in one yourself, say a punch card from a coffee shop or airline points. While it's usually retailers or credit cards doing the offering, with our rewards program, the retail merchant is the recipient. They redeem their points on processing fee rebates, cashback, or Stronghold's climate-friendly SHX crypto token. These 2 products make a big impact for our community. For example, using merchant financing and our rewards program, one of Stronghold's merchants remodeled their medical clinics 12 months early, driving a 15% increase in their business. They also use rewards cashback to reinvest in medical equipment for an additional 5% increase in top line. As a former partner at 500 startups where I taught proven Silicon Valley growth frameworks, I witnessed over 1,600 venture-backed portfolio companies, including 51 unicorns, implement scalable distribution to drive exponential growth. At Stronghold, we've applied these frameworks to successfully build a direct marketing and channel partnerships into our go-to-market strategy, quickly assembling a network of over 1 million merchants in our pipeline. Our business model is driven by 3 revenue streams for a diversified top line that revolves around merchant success: fast financing, payment services, and foreign exchange spread. This allows us to grow quickly and serve the needs of our merchants. The Visa Direct API enables us to provide funds in real time to our merchants in our financing program, a game changer for businesses with tight cash flows. Stronghold's international merchant base requires reward payouts in their native currency. Visa's foreign exchange rate API, in conjunction with the Visa Direct API, delivers a faster and better user experience for multi-currency transactions. Furthermore, Stronghold leverages Visa to provide rewards via USDC, the stablecoin issued by Stronghold's partner Circle. Like Visa, we heavily focus on accessibility. Payments and financial systems are rapidly innovating, and our teams work at the forefront of these innovations. With Visa support, Stronghold paves a different path toward a more inclusive, stable, and connected global economy. Thank you.
Wonderful pitch, Tammy. It was great learning more about Stronghold. And I'm sure our judges have some fantastic questions. So let's kick it off with Edward for our Q&A.
Thank you, Tammy. Great pitch. I love the products, 2 products you talked about, and I love the all the API integration. What's next? You said there was just 2. What else is on your radar here?
We actually have a product suite. So we have payment processing. We have, which is live today, and this is how merchants onboard. And because we are a payments processor, we are able to offer them merchant financing. So that's one suite of an additional product that we have in our suite. So we have merchant acceptance like with Visa, and we offer acceptance in other forms like ACH, as well as payouts.
Great, robust. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And Jennifer, do you have any questions for Tammy?
I do. Tammy, great pitch. You mentioned 2 key verticals as being key to your current scaled growth. Can you talk about how much room do you have in those key verticals, and which ones do you see next as you try to grow to the next horizon?
Yeah. So our key verticals are around B2B and healthcare. Right now, we're really kind of just focusing on verticals where their needs are not being met. So some of these businesses, because they have, for example, medical equipment, they might not be served in a way that a normal financial service provider would. So we actually just go into other markets, or we do a lot of investigative work to go into other markets like insurance, like FX, like foreign exchange. And so we plan on expanding into those verticals.
Excellent. Thank you.
Wonderful. And Chuck, you have the next question for us.
Thanks, Tammy. I really appreciate the broadness of the vision. On channel partnerships, you touched on it a little bit. For both healthcare and for B2B, what are like can you go a little bit deeper on what the channel partnership execution looks like to get your thousands of merchants?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, we actually have channel partnership. We have over 18 channel partnerships today. 5 of them are live, and another 6 of them are going live. And channel partnerships are, partners. So there's a lot of work that goes in there. You have to be mutually aligned. And what we do is we enable these channel partners to be fintech enabled. Therefore, they have an additional revenue line from us. So they go into their own merchant base and they can go sell into that for that additional revenue line. So we're a fintech enabler.
Wonderful. And Peter, do you have any questions for Tammy?
Yeah, Tammy, great job. Really interesting platform that you've pulled together. So thanks for sharing. Curious if you could talk about how you see USDC and that partnership going forward and what that means for the business as you think about the future.
Sure. I think that, as, we're in this stage between where 1 foot in Web 2 and 1 foot in Web 3. And I really think that stablecoins are an easy way for consumers to kind of wrap their head around the Web3 ecosystem and cryptocurrencies. And so I just see it as another pay-in or payout method to like an ever-changing multi-currency platform. So as you know, like the US dollar is still probably the most transacted currency, and so just to have that in a form where it's accessible to more people, I think it's just highly beneficial, and I'm very excited to work with Circle.
Wonderful job, Tammy. Great to learn about all the great things that you're doing. That is all the time that we have. So thank you, judges.
All right. So listen, there's a select few of us who know about some of these things. I mean, it's just a blast from the past. But how cool was that to see, somebody from a project like this pitch it to Visa? There was times, of course, that you could tell she's a little bit nervous and so on. Come on, you get put on a stage like that, you're not going to be a little bit nervous. She's human. My thing I want to point out is this key takeaway before we jump into the last part of Stronghold. I know it's a lot to get into, but we don't cover Stronghold every single day. So here's the breakdown. Here's what I gathered in regards to this, why I thought it was important, and why I'm bringing it to you guys. So for one, if you weren't aware of it, this Visa Everywhere initiative, it is an annual program from Visa, and it was aimed at finding and promoting innovative fintech startups. They do it every year, basically. Okay, so that was back in 2022. Obviously, Stronghold won, if you're wondering about that. And it's the whole thing of providing innovative fintech startups, particularly those focusing on underrepresented communities. In this case, a very low market cap Stronghold, right? SHX. But yes, they continue to do it. And basically speaking, back in 2022, Stronghold SHX was the audience favorite. Now, hear me on this. In 2022, Stronghold, with its, of course, its own digital currency, we know it to be SHX, they were indeed voted the audience favorite in Visa Everywhere initiative for North American startups. And I do think it's important to note that this was a popularity contest. Hear me out. This is not your traditional like one winner type thing. It was a popularity contest decided by its voters, not a competition with a single winner. So it was the voters was like, I'm very impressed with this compared to just having, judges voting on one winner. I think that's significant. That's why I wanted to bring it to you. Now, what about the significance in regards to all this, in regards to Stronghold, right? Well, I think it's still a big deal because it did get a lot of recognition for SHX, Stronghold. Winning the audience favorite award gave Stronghold, of course, significant exposure to what, guys? To the fintech industry. No kidding. And it was a major boost for not just, Stronghold, but for startups, attracting potential investors, partners, and customers. But of course, it benefited Stronghold the most. It also validated Stronghold to be recognized by major players, obviously like Visa, and it did suggest that Stronghold's approach to financial services has what? It has merit. That is a major win. And of course, this validation could build trust. It still is. I mean, look how far they gone from there, from then, excuse me. So it did build trust and credibility in the market. And if anything, I mean, you see more of that. I get it when it comes to the naysayers. They look at like, well, look at the supply. They could dump on the market. Again, guys, understand this. It's the internet of trust. You know, there is a trust factor when it comes to all of this. These people want to strike me as, oh, you know what? They're going to dump on the whole community. You see that Sean, the CEO, is very, very engaging with the community. He's on Discord a lot. He gets it when it comes to community concerns and so on. The same when it comes to Tammy Camp. So while it's not a direct financial gain for specifically, for as far as a win for Visa in the Everywhere initiative, you have to keep in mind it was significant in regards to public relations victory for who? For Stronghold, especially back in 2022, and it helped establish them as a noteworthy player. And just that, guys, in the fintech space, that was awesome. So I like this other one from Crypto Jew 12. Shout out to him. I give him a follow. He says, because Stronghold created technology that moves dollars quickly and security, they call themselves, quote, the on and off ramp to the Interledger Network ILP. Remember how we were quoting some of this stuff in regards to Stellar at the beginning of the outline for Stellar? So what is ILP's total addressable market size? This is funny. All the money. Well, I don't know if you guys agree with all that, but I think it's crucial. It says that Interledger is an open protocol suite that's used to send payments across multiple ledgers. What does it also say? Just as the internet uses open protocols like TCP/IP to transmit packets of data using routers. Yes, using routers. Interledger protocols, ILP, direct packets of money across independent payment networks via connectors. Our partnership establishes Stronghold, yes, Stronghold, as a connector that facilitates cross-ledger, cross-currency transaction fulfillment, and also unveils Stronghold USD as its first asset-backed US dollar-enabled connector on the Interledger. Just like Tammy Camp was just talking about in that interview towards the end when she was pitching the whole thing to Visa. The sender, the connector, the receiver. All done. And they reference what? They reference the whole thing of SHX, Stronghold. So it's a big deal. In closing, you have to keep in mind the bigger picture. All right? Hear me out on this. Were you aware of this? And that is the significance of the Interledger partnership with Stronghold. It's twofold. And we're going to conclude this here in a bit. I know this is a deep dive. So I looked more into this and I said to myself, would this create a sense of improved efficiency, especially when it comes to Stronghold? The answer is yes, because it creates a thing called an openness for cross-border payments. Again, back to the whole thing of Stellar Ripple, for instance, always mentioned in that regard. But this is SHX. So Interledger, if you weren't aware of it, acts as like a universal translator for different payment networks. Traditionally, sending money across borders can be slow. We know that, especially when it comes to the likes of Swift, or how about like Western Union and things like that. It's expensive. It involves multiple conversions. Very, very true. By acting as a connector on ILP, Stronghold itself facilitates smoother cross-ledger and cross-currency transactions. This could potentially reduce fees, increase speed, and make international payments more accessible. Again, why would Visa give the green light or, say, hey, you know what, we choose Stronghold? Could have went with a lot of those other ones that made their pitch, and we didn't get into all the other ones, but I think that's significant. Number 2, Stronghold USD as the first asset-backed USD connector. Hear me on this one too. This is a major advantage for Stronghold. Since Stronghold USD is directly tied to the US dollar, again, back in that example from 2022 from Tammy Camp, pitching to Visa, so tied to the US dollar and regulated, it injects an element of trust I was talking about trust earlier. An element of trust and stability into the ILP network. This can be crucial for the thing we all want, wider adoption of SHX, especially for institutions and users who might be, of course, hesitant about using unbacked cryptocurrencies, of course, for payments. But the next step forward is proper regulations. You gotta like or at least appreciate the idea that Stellar recently wrote that blueprint, or I should say that white paper blueprint, referencing from top to bottom in that white paper about the US government and getting regulations properly done for compliancy and everything what Stellar is doing, even with Circle, you name it, right? But to have SHX part of the mix, because there is going to be people who are still going to be hesitant about using unbacked cryptocurrencies for, of course, payments. Now, what does this mean for Stronghold, SHX? You, me, and everybody else is part of the retail mix. Hear me out. It means there will be increased visibility and potential use case. By being the first mover with a US dollar backed connector, Stronghold gains significant visibility. Yes, people will start looking at it within the Interledger ecosystem. This could lead to more users and businesses choosing Stronghold. Yeah, I know it sounds nuts. For their cross-border transactions, potentially boosting demand for the SHX tokens. Have you not seen more boosted demand lately? Have you not been paying attention to why all of a sudden this thing is going crazy? I mean, the thing ate some zeros and still low market cap. What about the potential for network effects? As more users and businesses leverage, of course, Stronghold's connector and Stronghold USD, the network effect would come into play. I fully agree. And those connections to Ripple and Stellar, that is massive for Stronghold. A more robust network becomes even more attractive, of course, to new users, further solidifying, yes, that's right, solidifying Stronghold's position within Interledger. So I understand that some people feel as though that on a massive scale, this is yet to be seen or determined as far as like what's going to happen long term. But keep in mind, Interledger partnership and how they position themselves with Stronghold as a key player in facilitating smoother and more efficient international payments will be the most significant driver of them all when it comes to the future of SHX. Visa, Interledger, Stronghold. We're always going to pay attention to this. And this is why I thought I'd bring it to you guys. Blast from the past, paying attention to what's going on in the now.